Israeli soldiers have been TikToking potential war crimes in Gaza, filming themselves blowing up buildings and abusing Palestinians, and then proceeding to post these moments across social media. Now, an investigative documentary has been made into some of the Israeli war crimes committed in Gaza, and the evidence for the investigation was not hard to find. There is an abundance of footage posted online by the perpetrators themselves, even from their personal accounts. At a screening for the Al Jazeera Investigative Unit's film in London, we spoke to some of the people featured in the film about what they witnessed in Gaza as a result of Israel's actions.
And above all, those who inflicted it.
I am Yumna Sayed. I am Al Jazeera English correspondent in the Gaza Strip. I am also, I'd like to say, at least for now, since I came out of Gaza, I'm also an advocate for the Palestinian people, their rights, human rights, and dignity.
What does it feel like to be outside of Gaza, given what you witnessed and directly were first-hand witness to the bombing in Gaza?
Well, first of all, leaving Gaza for me was like the most difficult choice that I had to make, because I felt that I abandoned Gaza. I felt that I was abandoning that very important duty and responsibility to keep on informing the people about the atrocities that are ongoing on a daily basis in Gaza. But I reached to an extent where I wasn't able to protect my family anymore, my children in particular. And I just got to that point where I had to choose between being a mother or a journalist, and in which role I would continue. And obviously, the scale of being a mother was heavier for me. And that was like why I took that decision. It wasn't easy and it wasn't fast. And it wasn't like just when you decide to leave, then you can leave. That comes with a lot of other processes that need to be taken in count and facilitated for you to be able to leave the Gaza Strip.
Why do you think Israel targets journalists in the way that it does? And as we've witnessed literally today, another Al Jazeera colleague was targeted by an Israeli sniper. Why do they make such an emphasis on journalists?
Because journalists are the main reason why all their atrocities and crimes are exposed. So if you kill the messenger, if you kill the journalist, then your atrocities are not exposed anymore. And that's why Israel has carried out its suppression against even international journalists by banning them from entering Gaza. But I don't think that it had expected that Palestinian journalists would continue despite all these challenges that they put for them and carry on exposing their atrocities every single day.
My name is Victoria Rose. I'm a consultant plastic surgeon in the NHS, and I work with a charity called Ideals that has been going to Gaza since 2009. And since the war, I've been back to Gaza with Ideals in March for 2.5 weeks when we were at the European Gaza Hospital. And then I've just come back from a month at Nasser Hospital. I think when I was there, you don't really think about anything because there's just so much work to do, and you're just moving from case to case, seeing the next patient. I mean, it's just an enormous amount of work for a plastic surgeon, and I go with an orthopedic surgeon, and so we do a lot of joint work together. And most of what we're seeing, limb trauma, facial injuries, it's all the bread and butter plastic and orthopedic trauma that we get at home, but in very small aliquots. So this was just like a rush of work, and because it was relentless, every time you thought you were on top of it, there would be, a new bombing or a new mass casualty. It didn't stop, so you don't think, you just keep going, keep doing what you can, trying to hold things together.
Can you tell us about the people? Tell us about the Palestinian doctors that you worked with, and tell us about the patients that you treated.
The Palestinian medical teams are amazing. They are so resourceful and so pleased to see you when you get there. I had a team of medical students that worked with me at the European Gaza Hospital who were absolutely incredible. And without asking, now these aren't even doctors, but I had 8, and 2 of them would operate with me, 2 of them would run the wards, 2 of them would be on call, and at any time two of them would be off. And they just ran this rota, and they'd been running it since January, and I'm there in March. I don't know how they found the resilience to keep going, but it's the same as, my anaesthetic colleagues. They, have been in a war situation since October, and they're still coming to work every day. I think they are amazing, and there is a view of the Palestinians, particularly in Gaza, that it's some sort of third world country, and that they're not the same sort of level of civilization as we are in the UK, and that's completely untrue. My colleagues have lost their homes, and I'm not talking about some little shack on the beach. I'm talking about 3-story villas, people that drove 2 cars, that had jobs in hospitals. All of that has gone. Very normal.
Lives,
All of that has gone, and they're still coming to work. They've had their families threatened. They are. I cannot believe that they're still going. I'm so amazed by their ability to. I think they just feel this, sense of responsibility.
I was about to ask, what do you think keeps them going?
It's a sense of responsibility, but it's amazing how much it means to them when we've turned up. They are amazed that people will come in from the Western world to give them a hand, and they were so grateful. And that's almost embarrassing that they're that grateful to see us, because more of us would be there if the restrictions had been lifted.
Let me just tell you that the past 10 months for me and for my family, since I came out of Gaza and then started, feeling that survival guilt that kept on eating me inside, I felt that I should not be here. This ongoing genocide needs me to be inside with my other colleagues and friends covering this. But there was nothing that I could do about it because I wasn't able to get back into Gaza.
Do you think the world is listening to doctors enough? Doctors should have quite a bit of authority, but do you think the world is listening enough, and why do you think it is or it isn't?
I don't think the world's listening enough at all. I don't think anybody in government has spoken to me about what I've seen or what I've been doing. I think the issue that we have is that people are trying to politicize this, and as doctors, one thing to say is that doctors train so hard that we're often, not very up to speed on other things like politics. We are real sort of anoraks for medicine. I'm not really interested in the politics of this now. I'm interested in the fact that young children are dying, and there are people in this age that do not have the human rights that they deserve.